Hey ladies, I'm Aisha Watkins, founder of Women of Project Management, and this is the Women of Project Management podcast, where I have candid conversations with all my favorite women inside the Women of Project Management membership in audio. Please don't forget to subscribe and review everywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm Aisha Watkins, founder of Women of Project Management, and today we're going to be talking to Melanie Williams. Melanie's career spans over 6 years as a go-to project management professional in the healthcare industry, like me, working with world-renowned healthcare organizations like Emory and Piedmont Healthcare. Recently, she has utilized her corporate project management skills to help everyday entrepreneurs launch their business projects. Melanie earned her Master's of Business Administration from Brunel University with a concentration in project management, her CAPM Certified Associate of Project Management, Global Certification from the Project Management Institute, PMI, and her Lean Six Sigma Certification from Brunel University, and her undergraduate degree in Biomedical Sciences from Auburn University. Melanie is the founder and creator of MC Writing and Consulting, a firm that was created to support 9-to-5 entrepreneurs with their writing and project management needs in their respective careers and businesses. This firm intentionally empowers professionals to leverage their stories and skills to launch their dream businesses. Believe that we truly define history with our everyday projects and stories. And Melanie is located in Georgia, like I am. So welcome, Melanie.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you
I'm
here.
so excited.
So, I'm really ready to jump into a little bit of everything.
Yes.
But tell us, before I get all excited, why don't you start by telling us, what has your career journey looked like in project management?
Okay, so let's just say that up until probably about 5 years ago, I had no idea what project management was.
You've accomplished a lot.
Yes, I would listen. Once I get like a little nibble, I kind of take it and keep going with it.
Yes.
But I didn't even know that project management was even a thing. I, like you mentioned in my bio, I went to Auburn, War Eagle. I went to Auburn to become a doctor, actually, and that's why, So that's why I majored in biomedical sciences. And you get to college, you have these dreams, and then you kind of get caught up a little bit,
Life happens.
Start having a little bit too much fun, and the doctor kind of went out the window very quickly. But I knew that I still wanted to work in healthcare, and so I ended up still graduating in biomedical sciences. And then I started. That's when I actually started working for Emory, and my first job was actually a front desk receptionist. So I was checking in and out patients. And when you go to school, you have this idea of what your dream career is going to be, and then when you end up doing the same thing after you get your degree, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? And so I was kind of in this post-grad panic where I had this job, but I didn't know what I was going to do with my career now that I've had to switch gears. And so, but one thing that I didn't know how to do was work. So I made sure that even though I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do, that I still worked really hard where I was. And in about probably 3 months of being in that position, I was promoted to a coordinator position. Okay. And so in that position, I kind of started, helping patients with coordinating their plans of care. I started working with doctors and their different projects, which I didn't know that they were projects at the time, but helping them with different initiatives, managing their schedules, doing a lot of cross coordination across different departments. So I was doing a lot of the project management things without realizing that it was project management. Now, I was thankful and blessed enough to have an amazing boss who was more of like a mentor for me. And while I'm like, I've ruined my life, she's like, Mel, you're 22. You cannot ruin your life. Okay.
You're good.
We're going to figure this out. And she was actually the one who introduced me to project management. She was like, I think that this would be a really good career field for you. And so I researched it. And like I said, I took it and I kind of just ran with it. So then next thing I know, I got my MBA, and I actually got my MBA within a year while working full-time, doing both full-time, MBA in project management, and then also got the CAPM certification. And while I was doing that, my boss was also allowing me to work on different process improvement projects within our department. And so I I was kind of getting that formal education while also
Yeah.
that on-the-job experience. So that's kind of how I got started, and then kind of
Yeah.
fast forward to where I am today. So it was
Yeah.
not intentional, but
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for it.
I love that. So, Melanie, I don't know. I don't know if you know my story, but I started off thinking I was going to be a pharmacist.
Oh,
And I was in
wow.
the doctor's program at Xavier in New Orleans. And I was in
Hmm.
my second year. And then I was just like, I hate chemistry. I hate
Yes.
all the, I just don't. I don't like it. I just don't like it. And you know, I had my struggles, I had my ups, my downs, but I just knew it wasn't for me.
Hmm.
And then
Yes.
Hurricane Katrina hit too.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we're
Yeah.
like coming up on the 15-year anniversary this
Oh, wow.
Sunday or this Saturday, actually,
Hmm.
the anniversary, which is crazy that it went by so fast. But
Yeah.
I finished out, so my degree is biology and chemistry. Um,
Hmm.
and so I was just like, oh my God, I've ruined my life. What am I gonna do?
Yes.
And I honestly knew I didn't want to do that, but I didn't know what else to do because all my eggs were in
Yes.
one basket. And then
Yes.
I'm originally from Chicago. So then I went back up to Chicago. I had been being groomed by Walgreens Corporation this whole time because I thought I was going to be a
Hmm.
pharmacist. So I finally got back up there, went to their, started working in corporate and started as a project coordinator.
Oh,
And I was doing
yes.
stuff at retail and doing stuff that was like project based, but I didn't think of it as project management either.
Yes.
And ended up being a project coordinator in their PMO. And that's how I fell into it.
Wow.
So that's
See, you kind of just
funny. Yeah.
stumble
And then I
sometimes.
got my
That's funny.
MBA. Yeah, I got my MBA while I was working and figuring out on the job and
Yes.
just doing them in parallel like you. So that's funny.
Yes.
That's funny. I love
Yes.
that. So
Connection.
yeah, connection. So tell me more about your career of what, you know, kind of how, you know, I guess maybe what you liked about project management when you did find out about it and as you're going to school and finishing everything up. What are the things
Mhm.
that you really found like you maybe connected with the industry to know that, okay, this is my thing?
Yeah, so I really like being able to get people from point A to point B.
Yeah.
I'm someone that I like a start and an end. So I
Mhm.
don't like to do a
Mhm.
lot of like ongoing things that just go on and on and on.
Yeah,
People, anyone that works with me will tell you that I like
me
a
too.
clear end date, and we get to a destination. But
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I liked, even in the coordinator role that I was doing with working with patients. It was like
Yeah.
we started them, we onboarded them, got their plan of care, and then they kind of went and did it on their own. So I like
Yeah.
that part of it. I also really like, probably my favorite part though, is being able to take someone's ideas and actually
Hmm.
make a plan out of it. Because I think
Yes.
sometimes people in their minds, they think, oh, I'm just rambling and I don't really know what I want to do.
Mhm.
But I think that it took me a while to realize it as a gift, but I think that I do have a gift to be able to take your ideas and help connect the dots and actually create a plan that makes sense so that you can actually make your idea a reality. And
Yeah.
so that's something that's super motivating for me, that I think also translates to why I like project management so much. And
Mhm.
I'm just very resourceful. So I'm
Yeah.
always like, listen, we're going to make this work with what we have. And so,
That's what we
working
end up
with
having,
different
strap through to
projects.
everything.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But being able to like work on someone's budget, because I think
Yeah.
even in my business, and we'll get into that, but sometimes people think they can't start a business because of lack of funds. But I
Yeah.
listen, we make it work because as
Yes.
project managers, we're very resourceful, and so
Yes.
I think that those qualities were kind of the main things of why I like to get into project management, and then
Yeah.
helping people, like actually walking them through the process to get from point A to point B. So
Yeah. I love that.
yes.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what, out of curiosity, what side of healthcare were you on? For me, you know, it's healthcare is under this big umbrella. For me, I'm
Yes.
on the pharmaceutical side and like the
Mhm.
pharmacy benefit side of it and dealing with clients. What side of healthcare is your experience in?
And well, now it's in quality and patient safety.
Okay.
Before I was actually working in pulmonary and critical care, so I was
Oh
actually
wow.
working with like doctors and nurses that were
Yeah.
treating patients. Now it's
Okay.
more so on the quality and patient safety side.
Okay. Now, I
Yeah.
definitely want to get into this business in a minute, but could you take people maybe who are thinking about, there's a lot of people inside the membership who either want to get
Hmm.
into healthcare project management because it is, there are so many different opportunities.
Yes.
And it's, I mean, I've loved it. It's been my whole career of, you know,
Hmm.
healthcare. But can you tell us maybe what a typical day maybe looks like in either that role before or the current role in healthcare, just so people would have like an idea of that side of healthcare?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different components. There's a lot of working with physicians. Physicians have very different personalities, so you have to kind
They
of
very
be
much
able.
do. They very much
so you
do.
so you have to kind of
Yes.
kind of boot up before you go. But anyway,
Yeah.
they're awesome though. But
Yeah.
they have different personalities, and so a lot of it is working with physicians.
Mhm.
Trying to get them to make decisions on different projects. Currently in my role, I work a lot with some of our C-level executives, and so it's really just trying to get their thoughts on paper and help make them make a decision. That of
Yeah.
course, and the thing with healthcare is of course it impacts patient lives. And so there's a lot of, impact and a lot at stake. And so you have a lot of different personalities that are all passionate about patients in their own way. And so it's a lot of managing those conversations, knowing your audience and knowing what to say and who to say it to. And so, it's a lot of working with doctors and nurses. In my role now, I don't work a whole lot with patients, but before, at Emory, I was working with patients who were newly diagnosed with cancer and had chronic illnesses. And so it is very rewarding. It can definitely take a toll because it does have such an impact on people's lives,
There's
but it's
lives
so
attached to it.
rewarding. But it's so rewarding too. But it's just dealing with a lot of personalities in a very quick pace. Everything needs to have been done yesterday. And so, you have to be flexible, but it's very rewarding.
I can see that. I can see that. Okay. So you've had all this amazing experience and clearly you know what you're doing, right? On the healthcare side. And there's a lot of skills you have to have, a lot of soft skills you have to have too. A lot of soft skills you have to have, especially in healthcare. But tell me about you have a consulting firm too. And I love to show that we are so multifaceted as women in the project management industry. And just the pure title tells you that, you're a superwoman and you can do multiple things at one time and still be able to be really good at both. So tell us about the consulting firm and even why you started. What's it all about? I want to know everything.
Okay, let's see. This may take a minute.
Okay. I want to hear it all.
So, oh man, where do I start? Okay, so I guess I'll start with kind of picking back up to where I was getting my MBA. So like I said, I had a wonderful boss when I first kind of came out of undergrad. And while I was getting my MBA in project management and growing my formal education in business and project management through that, I was also having on-the-job experience with project management. But my boss at the time, she had also enrolled me in this leadership and career development course. And so I was kind of doing all these things all at once, which I loved because it was giving me this sense kind of purpose that I had lost for a moment. And so, but I was managing all of those different things that I was learning and taking in so much information. I also started a blog. At the time, it was called Beauty in the Rough Draft, where I was kind of sharing my journey of growing in my career and growing, in discovering myself and discovering kind of, what I felt like I was called to do and growing in my faith and just kind of sharing that journey along the way. Because I think sometimes, especially as millennials, we can get kind of caught up of trying to find a purpose or get to this destination. But I think that there's always beauty in the journey. And so I started that blog to kind of just give a space for that, for millennials and for anybody who was kind of in a season of transition, trying to figure things out. So I was doing all of that at once. What I noticed was as I was kind of, sharing my journey and sharing the skills that I was learning from that leadership and career development course, a lot of people my age were like, hey, Mel, how did you get into all this in your career? How are you doing this in the blog? And then even people on my job that knew I had the blog were like, how are you able to manage your career and start this blog? And, I want to be able to start something too. And so, I was kind of getting these requests as I was kind of learning along the way, which was very interesting to me. And so kind of fast forward maybe a year later, after I had finished that career development and leadership course, I actually started, writing resumes for some of my friends on the side and kind of helping them, manage conversations as millennials in corporate America, which we, at the time we had no idea what we were doing. So we're all helping each other out, along the way. And so that's kind of originally how it started with the writing piece, was writing resumes and cover letters and doing a little consulting as far as like coaching them on interviews and things like that. And then it kind of grew. And so, like I said before, a career professional.
To listen to the rest of this conversation, join us inside the Women of Project Management membership at womenofpm.com. Thanks for listening.